Well, hello everybody. Saturday afternoon in Appalachia. Beautiful out. Just absolutely spectacular. Been another beautiful week. We finally got some rain. Got the fire going. Do a little fire ceremony here. I'm going to talk about something that's kind of sad. Um, Hopefully people can hear me better. I'm trying a new microphone and tested it earlier. Sounded good. Uh, what a crazy couple of weeks. Ever since our election here in the United States, which is still being counted in numerous areas around the country. Always the same places. It's sad that we have come to this. So sad. Um, so sad that there's so much importance put on this that people will just completely lose any sign of integrity just so that their side or their person will win an election. Something that I just do not understand, but I'm not going to try to understand it because it is a part of human nature that there's many elements of human nature that I will never understand. There's many elements of human nature that you will never understand. And it's just something that we have to learn to live with. But on top of that, I believe that we have a severe mental health crisis in the United States. And just from the videos I'm seeing of women shaving their heads, it's sad. It just doesn't make any sense. Swearing off of sex, which is fine. You know, we want to make sex sacred again. All right. So that might end up being a good thing. But the fact that it's all a reaction, a very emotional reaction to an election, and most of it boils down to the election of one person. Why do we put so much importance on this one office that constitutionally is the weakest branch of our federal government? The founders of our country purposely set up a system of government with three branches where the executive branch is the weakest of the three branches because they did not want to get into a situation where there would be any possibility of a king, because that's where they were coming from. If you put yourself into their mindset of 250 years ago and all of the events that led up to that, which goes all the way back into the 1600s in the writings of a guy named John Locke, Locke, you can look it up. And then even before that to 1215 and the Magna Carta, okay, there was this movement. And of course, the Magna Carta, you can always go all the way back to Greece, but this movement about self-government that had been going on in the mass consciousness for hundreds of years. So the founders of the United States of America set up a system of government as best they could, and at its core, it is the best we may have on this planet. Now, I am not, of course, in a position of some other people, especially if you were a Native American Indian or you were brought over here against your will from Africa or even from Ireland, which had a slave trade. The English had Irish slaves they brought over here. Actually, before the slave trade came from Africa. It's a complicated story. So a lot of people have been moved around against their will, and it's happening today all over the world. And yet all this focus is on so many people focusing all their energy on the election of one man who, frankly, I don't particularly care for, because I don't think he's the savior that a lot of people think he is. Time will tell. He might even be a Trojan horse for the AI transhuman agenda. I don't know. What I do know is that I wake up every day blessed, air in my lungs, trees all around me, running water, a roof over my head, and the opportunity to be of service to others. And that's as good as it gets. I'm glad I don't live in a big city. If you live in a big city, I suggest you get out of the big cities. It's not going to get any better, not for a long time. You know, it's Newtonian physics. You know, when a particle is put into motion, it continues in motion until it's acted upon in an opposite direction. And right now, things are in a certain motion, and it's going to be tough to stop them. You know, the deep state, wars. There's 22 wars going on right now around the world. All of these biolabs with messenger RNA being set up, and the people in the halls of power have investments in all these things. It's not going to stop with the election of one man. It's going to come from the ground up. But we need to figure out how to help some of these people who are simply out of control with just cutting their hair and just going berserk on some of these videos. There's a serious mental health crisis in this country right now. And it's been building for a long time. I'd say 2 to 3 generations. It's continually getting worse. And it's something that's not talked about, and certainly not in the mainstream media. They don't want to talk about it, because certain elements of our society are profiting from it, and have been for 2 or 3 generations. It's just like the number of children that go missing. Children are being taken from their parents here in Western North Carolina because of what happened with Hurricane Helene. It's a tragic thing, what's happening here in Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, and it's not getting any coverage at all. Our government has completely let us down, both at the national level and the state level. But children are being kidnapped all around the world, trafficking. It's painful to even think about. And not to mention just teenage suicide. All around this country. All we can do is pray for these people every day. There are moments when I get very angry at what's going on. And very sad too. And meanwhile, people allow themselves to be distracted by a 58-year-old guy fighting a 30-something-year-old guy on television last night. And all I can think about then is bread and circuses for the masses, you know. But I understand that we need a distraction, you know. I watch bowling. It's my distraction. It's a non-violent sport, unless you're a bowling pin, of course. Then it's a little violent. But I understand how we all need some fluff, as a friend of mine calls it. But all we can do is continue to practice gratitude, try and be in harmony. Yeah, just spirit, mind, heart, and body in harmony. People go mad in crowds, someone once wrote, but they come to their senses one at a time. And that's what's going to happen here. It's going to take a very long time. And it's not going to come from the top down. It's going to come from the bottom up. Each and every one of us, each and every one of you has to learn how to work with these emotions every day, consciously every day. And that's all we can do. Stay away from all the poison, all of this, all the stuff in a grocery store, all the stuff that we're bombarded with in the media. That's all we can do. So we have a day called Thanksgiving coming up. And again, it's used as a distraction. I don't know, how many football games are there now? There used to be one when I was growing up, and it was in Detroit. And I grew up there. I went to one when I was a kid. Thank you, Carmen, for taking me to that. Now there's, I don't know, what, 3 or 4? So everybody sits around stuffing themselves and watching football. Kind of lose the meaning, don't we? So, fortunately, I don't have cable TV, so I won't be watching. I'll just be doing what I ever do every day. Just trying to live quietly and consciously. But I do understand the need for fluff and the distraction. I'll watch highlights. That's my distraction. Yeah. So understand that there's a lot of people out there hurting because they're allowing themselves to be affected so much by the outside world. And that's what we need to change. We need to change how the outside world affects us. If you can control it, why worry about it? If you can't control it, why worry about it? And a lot of people, they want to smite the enemy or vanquish the enemy or punish somebody. And eventually the cycle of violence has to stop. I've been thinking about this the last couple of days. I don't know what the answer is, but the cycle of violence has to stop. If you know what the answer is, let me know. I don't know what the answer is. So maybe tomorrow, if it's nice out tomorrow, we'll go for a walk, go find a waterfall somewhere. Maybe the answer will come to me then. Maybe all the elementals that are surrounding me right now, all the gnomes, the salamanders, the elementals of the fire, and the gnomes, the elementals of the earth. Maybe they'll help give me the answer. But if you know what the answer is, let me know. Well, maybe we'll do this again tomorrow. So until next time, cosmic energy, earth energy, heart energy. Send loving heart energy out to all beings, all dimensions, all timelines, all realities. May this day be filled with compassion, loving kindness, and courage. Take care. Aho.